Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. We love to explore these futuristic topics, and today is no different. We're diving into AI integration.
Sounds pretty sci-fi, right?
Exactly. But that's the thing, it's not sci-fi anymore.
Nope.
We're talking about AI that's already here, like right now, quietly making our lives, well, a little bit easier every day.
It really is. And you know what I think the most interesting thing is?
What about that?
It's how personalized it's making everything. Like, it's becoming tailor-made to each of us, you know?
It's true. We found some sources talking about all kinds of crazy things.
Oh, yeah.
Like fridges that are suggesting recipes,
Yeah.
algorithms that know what memes are going to go viral next. It's kind of mind-blowing.
You know what I think the real key here is, though? It's not even just about AI changing, like, objects or gadgets.
Oh, boy, it's bigger than that.
It's about entire systems. I'm talking, like, transforming how things work on a massive scale.
Okay, so let's break this down a little bit. Let's start with something we can all relate to our homes. Our sources talk a lot about smart homes. But what are we talking about here beyond just like a Roomba running around?
Yeah, you know, those robot vacuums are cool and all, but it's way more than that. I'm talking about appliances that actually learn from your habits. And not just to make your life easier, but think about it, to cut down on waste.
Oh, interesting.
Like, imagine your fridge reminding you about that milk that's about to expire, and then on top of that, suggesting a recipe to use it up. Or a washing machine that adjusts the water it uses based on what you put in it.
So it's like AI is becoming our partner in being more eco-friendly.
I like that.
Exactly. And it's not just inside your house either.
Where else?
Think about your car.
Oh, right. We saw a lot about self-driving features.
Yeah, and that's definitely a huge one. But even beyond that, AI is making cars safer in ways we don't even realize.
Like how?
Well, like all those driver assistance features, the adaptive cruise control, the lane assist. These things are powered by AI. And they're not just making your drive more comfortable, they're actively preventing accidents. Wow, so AI is working in the background to make our commutes less stressful and safer.
Exactly. And you know what else? This whole AI integration thing, it's changing how we deal with companies too.
Oh, yeah.
You ever use those chatbots on websites?
All the time. Sometimes they're a little frustrating, honestly.
Well, sure, the technology is still being worked on.
Yeah.
But think about it. You can get help any time of day or night. Answer simple questions, maybe even solve a problem without waiting for a human.
I guess that is pretty convenient.
It is, and it's more efficient for the companies too, so everyone wins.
Like AI is this middleman smoothing things over between us and like these big companies.
That's a great way to put it. You know what else it reminds me of?
What?
A matchmaker.
A matchmaker.
Yeah. It's like AI is constantly analyzing all this data to connect us with the right products, the right services, even the right information at the right time.
Oh, that's a really interesting way to think about it. And if we're taking that analogy further, wouldn't that mean AI is playing a huge role in how businesses operate too? Especially like marketing and sales?
Absolutely. Think about how you get those personalized recommendations online.
Oh, so that's how I keep seeing ads for those shoes I was just looking at.
Exactly. But it's way more than just targeted advertising. AI can also be used to figure out the best prices, predict what people are going to want to buy, even personalize the whole shopping experience.
So basically, AI is making the whole buying and selling thing more efficient and more tailored to us as individuals. That makes sense.
It really does. And you know what's even wilder? Some of our sources talk about how AI can actually predict cultural trends.
Wait, what? Like predict the future?
Well, not exactly the future. It's more like using tons of data from social media, news articles, online shopping, you name it, to see patterns, and then using those patterns to predict what's going to become popular.
So it's like AI can tap into what everyone is thinking and feeling and see what's coming next. That's incredible.
Right. And think about what that means for things like marketing and entertainment. If you can anticipate what people are going to be into, you can create content that's super relevant, super engaging.
That's amazing. So AI isn't just making things more efficient, it's making them more fun, too.
Exactly. It's all about making technology work for us in a way that feels personal and relevant.
This is all really fascinating stuff. It seems like AI is less about robots taking over the world and more about creating a world where everything is connected. More efficient, maybe even more enjoyable.
It really is. And the possibilities are endless. But of course, we can't ignore the big questions that come with all this integration. The questions about privacy, ethics, and the future of work.
You're right. Those are important conversations to have.
Definitely. And we'll be diving into those in the next part of our deep dive.
So make sure to join us for part 2, where we'll explore some specific examples of AI integration in action and start to unpack those ethical considerations.
It's going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to it.
Welcome back to our deep dive all about AI integration. Last time we got pretty deep into how AI is changing things up.
It's pretty amazing stuff, huh?
Yeah, and we talked about how AI is already working in our homes, our cars, even when we're dealing with businesses online.
It's like it's everywhere.
Right. And the thing that really stuck with me was the idea that AI can predict what's going to be popular next.
Yeah, predicting those cultural trends. It is pretty wild when you think about it, but it makes sense in a way.
How so?
Well, think about all the data AI has access to these days.
Yeah, I mean, like social media posts, news articles, shopping habits.
It's all there.
Yeah.
And AI can see those patterns that we humans might miss.
Oh, I see. So it's not like AI is magically knowing the future. It's just really, really good at analyzing information.
Exactly. And that's why it's so powerful for things like, marketing, entertainment, even creating new products.
Okay, now that's where it gets really interesting for me. Like, how does that work in the real world?
Well, let's say you're a fashion company. You could use AI to look at all sorts of things.
Like what?
Like what people are posting about on social media, what's trending on the runways, even what people are wearing on the streets.
Oh, wow.
And then AI can use that information to predict what styles, colors, patterns are going to be hot next season.
So they could design clothes that they know people are going to want before they even know it themselves.
Exactly. That's the power of AI.
Wow. So it's not just fashion, though, right?
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, think about movies and TV shows.
Okay, yeah.
Streaming services already use AI to recommend stuff based on what you've watched before.
Right.
But imagine if they could go even further. Use AI to predict what kinds of stories and characters people are going to connect with.
So they can make movies and shows that are almost guaranteed to be hits.
It's definitely possible. And that same principle applies to so many things. Products, marketing campaigns, you name it.
It's kind of amazing. And a little bit scary, too, if I'm being honest.
Oh, yeah, I get that. I mean, if AI can figure out our preferences and behaviors so accurately, it does raise some questions.
Yeah, like about privacy and control.
Exactly. And those are important things to consider for sure. But I think it's important to remember that AI itself isn't good or bad.
It's just a tool. Right?
Exactly. And it's up to us how we use it. And that's why it's so important to have these conversations about ethics and guidelines and all that stuff.
So we can make sure AI is used in a way that benefits everyone.
Precisely. But, it's not all just hypotheticals and what ifs.
Oh, right. There are already tons of cool ways AI is being used right now.
Exactly. Remember we were talking about digital twins earlier?
Yeah, those virtual replicas of real-world things. It sounded pretty sci-fi to me.
I know, right? But it's a real thing. And it's being used in all sorts of industries.
Like how?
Well, imagine a digital twin of an entire city.
Okay.
You could use it to simulate all kinds of things.
Like what, traffic?
Yeah. See how changes to the roads or public transport would affect traffic flow? Or even simulate natural disasters to see how the city would hold up.
Wow. So it's like having a virtual sandbox where you can test out different scenarios and see what happens.
Exactly. And it's not just cities. Digital twins are being used for manufacturing, healthcare, energy, even agriculture.
That's incredible. It's like being able to look into the future and see how things are going to play out.
Yeah, it's pretty close to that. And it's all thanks to AI.
Speaking of looking into the future, what about education? We saw some stuff about AI being used to personalize learning.
Oh, yeah, that's a really exciting area. It's all about using AI to tailor the learning experience to each student's individual needs.
So it's like everyone gets their own custom lesson plan.
It's kind of like that, yeah. I mean, AI can figure out what a student is good at and where they might need more help, and then it can adjust the content, the pace, even the teaching style to match their learning style.
It's like having a personal tutor for every student.
Exactly. And think about how much more engaging and effective learning could be if it was truly personalized.
That's amazing. But with all these amazing possibilities, there's still those concerns about the downsides. Like, what about jobs?
Right. People are worried about AI taking over their jobs.
Yeah.
And I get that. It's a valid concern. But I think it's helpful to look back at history.
Yep.
Every time there's been a major technological advancement, there have been shifts in the job market.
So, like, some jobs disappear, but new ones are created.
Exactly. Think about the internet. No one could have predicted all the jobs that would come out of that. Social media managers, app developers, you name it.
That's true. So maybe it's not about AI taking jobs away, but more about AI changing the types of jobs that are out there.
Exactly. It's about adapting and evolving. And I think
Mhm.
the key is going to be focusing on those skills that AI can't replicate.
Like what kinds of skills?
Things like critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, emotional intelligence, those are the skills that will be in high demand in an AI-powered world.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about all the data that AI needs to work? That still makes me a little uneasy.
Yeah, the privacy issue is definitely a big one, and it's something we need to be really careful about.
But how can we protect our privacy when AI is collecting so much information about us?
Well, for one thing, we need strong data privacy laws, and we need to hold companies accountable for how they're using our data.
Yeah, transparency is key.
Yeah,
We need to know what's being collected, how it's being used, and who has access to it.
absolutely. And it's up to all of us to demand that transparency and hold these companies accountable.
So it's like a balancing act, harnessing the power of AI while also protecting our privacy and our values.
Exactly. And that's why these conversations are so important.
This has been such a fascinating discussion so far. It's incredible to see how AI is already changing so many aspects of our lives.
It really is. And it's only going to get more and more integrated into our world moving forward.
Well, I'm definitely eager to keep exploring this topic. Make sure to join us for the final part of our deep dive.
Absolutely. We'll be looking at even more real-world examples of AI in action and diving deeper into the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. It's going to be good.
Okay, so we're back and ready to wrap up our deep dive into AI integration. It's been a wild ride so far, right?
It really has. I mean, we've talked about everything from smart fridges to self-driving cars to AI that can predict cultural trends. It's amazing to see how fast this technology is evolving.
It really is. But with all this progress, it's easy to get caught up in the excitement and forget about the potential downsides. Like, what about jobs? Is AI really going to take over the workforce?
That's the big question everyone's asking, right? And it's understandable to be concerned, but I think it's important to remember that technology has always disrupted the job market.
Yeah, like the Industrial Revolution or the rise of the internet.
Exactly. Those were huge shifts that changed the types of jobs that were available, and AI is going to be no different.
So it's not necessarily about robots stealing our jobs, but more about AI changing the nature of work itself.
Right. I mean, think about all the tasks that AI can already automate. Things like data entry scheduling, even customer service.
That frees up humans to focus on more complex tasks, things that require creativity, critical thinking, and problem solving.
Exactly. And those are the skills that are going to be in high demand in the future.
So it's not all doom and gloom then.
Not at all. I think it's an exciting opportunity to reimagine the way we work and to focus on those uniquely human skills that AI can't replicate.
Okay, that makes me feel a bit better. But what about the other big concern, privacy? We talked about how AI needs a lot of data to function. How do we make sure that our personal information is protected?
That's a crucial question. And honestly, it's something we need to be talking about constantly as AI becomes more integrated into our lives. We need strong regulations that protect our data, and we need to hold companies accountable for how they're using it.
So transparency is key.
Absolutely. We need to know what data is being collected, how it's being used, and who has access to it.
And we need to be able to opt out if we're not comfortable with something.
Exactly. It's about having control over our own data.
It sounds like there's a lot of work to do to make sure AI is developed and used responsibly.
There is. But I'm optimistic. I think if we have these conversations and we work together, we can create an AI-powered future that benefits everyone.
Well, I'm glad you're optimistic.
Yeah.
Because this is all pretty mind-blowing stuff. We've covered so much ground in this deep dive.
I know. From the everyday ways AI is already changing our lives to the bigger questions about ethics and the future of humanity.
It's been a wild ride. But I feel like I have a much better understanding of what AI integration really means.
Me too. And I think the biggest takeaway is that AI is a powerful tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad.
It's up to us to make sure it's used for good, to create a future where AI helps us solve problems, improve our lives, and make the world a better place.
Exactly. It's an exciting time to be alive. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for AI.
Me neither. And to our listeners out there, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep asking those tough questions.
Because the future of AI is in our hands.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into AI integration. Until next time, stay curious.